waiting for yesterday's video to upload while we kick off our Tuesday morning. Welcome to the next day of the week. Good afternoon, everybody. We are another day through the week. We're on Tuesday, I think it is today. I get confused. So Tuesday is here and it's already started. I feel like I haven't done a single bit of videoing today. When I tell you guys it's been a busy week, it's been a busy week and it's only Tuesday. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just now taking a moment to have lunch because it's been a very productive day as far as work goes and getting things done. So I've not been very chit-chatty, unfortunately. Yesterday was fun though because I got to talk about pins. And when I start talking about Disney or pins, if you've been here for any length of time, or if you haven't, just go back and watch some videos. You guys know once I start talking about pins or Disney, I just get lost in the moment, which happens because I really enjoy just talking about it and discussing it and bringing up subjects. You know, there's a lot of subjects happening right now with all the changes going on with Star Wars Land, Toy Story Land, Avatar just opening this year, the gondola systems, the transportation upgrades, everything that's going on. It's just like, wow. And then we've got Tron on the future horizon, Guardians of the Galaxy something or another on the future horizon, nobody knows yet, Ratatouille, which I'm really excited about, on the horizon. So lots of new, cool, inventive attractions and themes coming very soon. So there's a lot to talk about and a lot to get excited for. And of course, to make it even worse, I'm going to Disney in a couple of months. So it's even more so exciting as we draw this week into its motion. Because September 1st is, what, 2 days away, I think? And with it only being 2 days away, I already bring up all the touch of fall. I have been slowly taking bits of the 4th of July decor down. I'm one of those people that when the seasons change, I typically try to change out accent pieces and bits of decor and decoration. Call me what you like, but I like what I like, and I like to see my house looking pretty. So I've been working over the past probably 2 weeks, or 3 weeks actually, and I don't have that much 4th of July / summer stuff. Usually I put out 4th of July themed, Americana themed stuff throughout the summer versus like flowers and things like that. So I've been working to slowly take that down already. Being that next Monday is Labor Day, which I'll be working, so no parties for me, but that doesn't mean that I will not be working on getting the rest of the summer down. Typically what I do is I take everything summer down by Labor Day, and immediately either Labor Day or the day after, my house is in 100% fall mode. I've already mentioned that before, but when I say 100% fall mode, I mean mums are being planted, all the leaves and decor is out immediately. Not like Disney, when they go from Halloween to Christmas. One day you're in the park, everything is Halloween, and there's pumpkins and orange and all this, and then you leave for the evening, and the next day when you walk in, there's toy soldiers and Christmas trees and lights and garland and all that. That's kind of how it is in my house from the day before Labor Day and the day after. It's like Labor Day, there's a little bit of 4th of July decor still out, it's still a little bit summer, but I guarantee you the day after Labor Day, everything in the house will be full and ready to go. And I already have my scarecrow for the end of the driveway because I like to put out a little display in the yard so that, you know, passersby can see. So I think I've posed this question before, but I'm going to ask you again to see what you think. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite season? Rank them. There's 4. Well, for most people. If you live in like a place like Arizona or maybe Alaska, you really... Oh no, Alaska has 4 seasons. So maybe if you live in like places like Vegas or Arizona, you don't, or Florida, you don't really have full 4 seasons. But if you could have 4 seasons, or if you do have 4 seasons like I do, what are your favorite seasons? Rank them in order from best to worst. And I'll tell you, mine are pretty much fall is number one. So fall, winter is actually number two. I know a lot of people are like, why winter? I like it cold. I don't like it frozen tundra cold, but my theory is I can only take so many clothes off in the summer, but I can put on a lot more clothes in the winter, which is good for everybody. You don't want to see all this. So definitely fall is number one, winter is number two, summer is number three, and spring is my least favorite. I like the colors and the pretty flowers blooming and all of that part, which is really nice to see. But here in Tennessee, the springs are just wet and stormy. Everything is muddy and mucky. And yes, everything's growing and greening up, but it rains so much, and we get a lot of really severe storms, thunderstorms with like tornadoes. And I don't know if you are watching this, have ever been through a tornado or been a part of it, but tornadoes are no joke. No joke at all. Alright, so we're going to take a moment to talk about these things, these tornadoes. I don't know where you're from, but I know here we get tornadoes and tornado threats typically in the spring, sometimes in the mid to late fall, and definitely we can get them in the summer as well. But we also get them in the winter sometimes towards the Christmas season. And if you guys have never been through a tornado, that is one of the most frightening things in the world to me. It is so scary. Because they're so unpredictable. Just like hurricanes or anything else. They're unpredictable. They're frightening. But it's just terrifying to know that this thing can rip apart everything that you have. Just because it's there. It's terrifying. I've been through a few. I've actually been close to a few. I may have even drove through one or two. And it's just terrifying. When I was in high school, we had a huge set of tornadoes come through Nashville. I think there was like 5 or 6 that all spawned up over the course of a few hours. And I was in high school during this. They locked us down in the school, wouldn't let us leave. It was terrifying. The worst part of it is when they finally let us out of school, they weren't running the school buses. So somebody had to come pick you up if you wanted to leave. So I didn't have anybody because my mom and dad were out of town for the weekend. So I had no choice but to wait for the school buses to run, which didn't end up running until I think like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I finally got dropped off. I had to walk to my house. The school bus did not drive down my road because I lived on a long dead-end cul-de-sac. And I was the only person at the other end, so they just dropped me off at the main entrance and I would have to walk. So it's raining, it's storming, and they drop me off and I have to run home. I get down to the house, there's trees falling down over the driveway, there's water puddling everywhere. It was just horrifying. I get home and I call my mom and I tell her what's going on. She says, hey, your sister will come get you and you can stay with her. And at the time, my sister lived probably about 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes from there. So I called her. She came over to pick me up. We got in the car. This is about the time the second round of storms were coming through. They started to come through as we were headed back to her house. We got not 10 minutes down the road and she had a flat. And we had to pull over, and we pulled over in this little parking space of a church. And we couldn't get the tire changed because she didn't have a spare. It's pouring rain. The storm is picking back up. The radio keeps saying tornado, tornado, tornado. And we're like, we're going to die. We're going to die. And about that time, an officer pulled up and he's yelling at us, why are you out? You should go inside, be safe. And we're like, we're broke down. He throws us in the back of the cop car. That's the only time I've ever been in a cop car, just so you know. And drove us back to my parents' house, which we had to get out of the car at the end of the driveway because our driveway was really long. And again, we had to walk through the mud and the water over the fallen trees to get in the house. That was an absolutely frightening experience to be a part of that. Prior to that, during the day before my mom and dad left to go out of town, at the time my mom and sister worked in the same office building. and they actually stood on the little balcony of the office and watched a tornado go right across downtown Nashville. It was just horrifying for somebody who was young and not knowing what exactly was all fixing to take place. It's scary. Your parents are out of town, your family's nowhere nearby, none of your friends are there anymore because they already went home because their parents picked them up. So you were just kind of stuck in your own little lost world. But me and my sister made the best of it. Gotta love having her around for sure. There are several other times that I've had to endure the tornado threats. I've endured them here at this house a few times. Luckily, I have a basement, so I can hide in the basement if need be. But I have watched the sky split open and it turned that strange, creepy turquoise color, which is typically a telltale sign that there's a tornado in the area. I remember one day, this was several years ago, that there was a serious tornado threat in the area. The storm was raging on just outside this window, and I was already hunkered down in the basement. And then all of a sudden the rain stopped, and it was quiet. And at the time there was actually 5 people in the basement because I wasn't home alone for this one. There were 5 people with me in the basement, and we opened up the door and went outside, and it was just quiet and calm. Now keep in mind, I live in sort of a hilltop area, so there's big hills all around me, and I'm on the side of a hill. Or not really on the side, but like at the edge of the hill, I should say. And so we walked outside, and it was quiet, but then you could hear this hum. And then it started to sound that telltale sign, if you've ever heard about tornadoes, that telltale sign of a train. It sounds like a locomotive rumbling loudly. And sure enough, we could hear it. But we were staying outside, it was not raining, and it was getting louder and louder. And it was like, where is this thing? We know it's coming. It was broad daylight. You should be able to see it. Because I live nestled into the hills, a lot of tornadoes, unless they run up a valley or through a flat spot, typically they don't go up and down hills. They hit a flat surface and they stay on it. So luckily, they hit the flat surface. It hit the flat surfaces that are on the tops of the hilltops around here, and was going over top of all of the valleys and the dips. So what I was hearing and what we were hearing was a tornado that was above our heads that had not descended below a certain elevation. So got really, really lucky on that one. It was scary. You could hear everything rattling. You could see the trees up above a certain line like moving, because you knew that this was it, but got lucky. It stayed up above. And I think about things like that because it is getting that time of year where we start getting heavier storms. The hurricane that just hit Texas yesterday or day before, even though that is in the coastal area and I'm nowhere near a coast, if a hurricane hits the coast, especially in the Louisiana or Panhandle area, a lot of times the hurricane will hit, but then it turns into a tropical storm, which still swirls up and will hit us in the area, which causes high winds and sometimes will spawn up a few tornadoes. And they are frightening to be a part of, and I hate them. I would love to live someplace else where they are not. I have family that live out in Kansas, and I don't know how in the world they live and survive out there. I couldn't do it. I could not be out there because I know they get more tornadoes than I do, and those just terrify me. I've been through a hurricane. The hurricane did not bother me. I just rode that one out. It wasn't that big of a deal. The water was puddling. It was thick. It wasn't quite a 3, I believe, is what hit Texas. I think this one was like a 1 or a 2. But I can tolerate that. I don't know why that didn't bother me. Tornadoes are terrifying. If you've ever seen one in person, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, enough of me rambling on. I'm going to try to make some more effort to have a good rest of the day. There's not much left of it for me, and I don't have to go to the grocery store today. So bonus on that one. So let's see what else we can get into today. Alright guys, well, the day is over. I know there's not been a lot going on. Work is catching up because it is the end of the month. First of the month and end of the month tend to be the busier times of the month. for me. So, and this is kind of like a mid-month week kind of thing, so it makes it even worse. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you take a moment to subscribe down below, and make sure you watch every day, because there's always something crazy and quirky to watch for the next day. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm fixing to go get dinner started, because I haven't even started on that, and work has been over for 10 minutes. I've just been lazy. So, I'm going to go get dinner started. Tonight I'm making chicken parmesan zucchini boats. I'm trying to eat a little healthier, and that's a good way to start. So, plus I was really looking forward to it because the recipe sounds delicious. So anyway, I am exhausted. I'm going to go cook dinner, and I'm going to do some couch sitting. So I will see you guys on the other side. Till tomorrow.